So I'm really excited to show you a new feature that we added into the software, and it has to do with editing designs. And in particular, it's kind of designed for working with TrueType fonts. If any of you have tried to convert TrueType fonts over into an embroidery, you probably have experienced some odd things that happen from time to time, like some stitches going in weird directions that it should be modified, and stitches should be changed around a little bit as far as what angle and direction they're going. And so I want to show you this new feature we added, and it's going to help tremendously in it. But I do want to point out that it does work for any design that you convert into embroidery. So it doesn't have to be just text. This tool exists for other things as well. So, but I'm just going to bring in here, I'm just going to type in Floriani embroidery. This should give me a good number of letters to work with, and I'll even do it in upper and lower case as well. It doesn't matter because this is I'm going to have to do a capital M. I have something set on my recording software that doesn't let me do a lowercase m, so I'm sorry. Embroidery, so that's why I have that here. And I'm going to hit select here, and I'm going to choose, instead of just Arial, I'll do like an Arial bold. And let me go ahead and bump this up a little bit to like a 26 and hit OK. So I have this artwork on my screen right now. I'm going to move this section. That's the nice thing about working with TrueType text, is you can see that it's artwork and it's all listed one letter at a time. So that's how it brings it in. So let me come in here and let me just show you. I'm going to just select all of these letters right here, and I'm going to choose auto satin. So I'm going to convert all of these over into an auto satin and just see what the software does. And I'm getting a little warning here. This must be pretty large here. So okay, so I've done that, and let me go ahead and zoom into some of the letters here. The software does actually a really good job at working with TrueType fonts. As you can see, the letter F is digitized in a way that you would digitize it. The L, the O, the R is, you would come up and around here, and this section would be different. And then you have the A, and you can see that the A here wraps around the corner, and you have the lower part of the A inside. The letter N is where I want to focus a little bit on, because you can see that it wraps around this corner, but it's a lot of stitches it's going to have to put in here and in at these corners. And so I want to show you this tool. So I'm going to click on this letter N, and I'm going to copy it first, and I'm going to put it into a new page just so that we can isolate it, and you can see I'm going to do a slow redraw of it so you can see how it forms. See this wrapping around the corners? It's wrapping all those stitches in here, which it's okay. It does use what we call short stitches, so it'll actually drop some stitches in between so that it doesn't stack them all right here. But a lot of times you can break this up to make it a little bit better. And I'm going to come over here. I'm just curious to see what size we're at. Let me go into inches, and we're about 3/4 of an inch. So let me make this like a 1/2 inch and hit apply. Sorry, that's not what I wanted here. Let's see. I wanted it to be 0.5, not 5. So let me come back in here. So we have this letter here. I'm put in 3D. You can see it again. So this tool is located in with the shape tool. So I'm going to click on the shape tool, and we're going to take a look here. So on this design with the shape tool selected, you're going to see the points, the angle lines here. With this tool, I can come in and I can say, let's say I want to break it up. Let's say I want the satin stitch to go all the way up here, and then I want it to be a new section to come down. I want to come down into there. So what I can do is I can right mouse click, and I can do add a split line. And when I do that, notice that those inclination lines and everything goes away, and I'm left with seeing the outline and the stitches. So if I want to break it up, let's say right here, from here to here, and then I can come in over here and do it from the bottom here to there. And if I right mouse click now, you'll notice that it actually breaks it up, and I didn't get this very clean right here. I do apologize for that. You can see it's a nice thing about the software is the editing capabilities in it. But now I have the letter N that is going to do these corners a lot easier. It's not going to be as difficult for the software to work with these corners. And a lot of times, like I said before, you just get a letter that does something funky, and it really depends on the font itself. Like I'd come in here and do something with the letter M, but usually it happens with fonts that are a little bit more, let me make this smaller, and it might do it, make something kind of different. And autos. But usually on a script font or something like that, I love it when I do a video like this and the software does a really good job of converting it, because it does do a really good job, and it's nice when you don't have to go in and edit, isn't it? But if you do have to go in and edit, that tool is there, and you can break it up. And I just want to show you also, let me come over and let me see if I can find, I'm going to bring in another TrueType font here just to kind of show you how this really works. I'm going to bring in this letter T, and I'm going to do an auto convert here. Let me zoom in here, and let me go to my shape tool. When I go to the shape tool, you'll notice that the software did know that it needed to break it up, and so it put one of these split lines here. And the reason I know it's a split line is because it's in like this orange color. All the other angle lines have black dots at the end of it, but anything that has to do with a split line has an orange dot at the ends, so you can see the difference there. So because it's right here, the software is going to treat this section different from this section. Now I can change that. If I move this up and I just drag that line up here, and if I right mouse click now it's going to treat this section different from this section. And so that's how the split lines work, is like basically you're just telling the software, I want to do anything on the other side of this line as a separate object. I want to do this one as one, this one as another. And this is a level of editing that is super powerful when working with things like TrueType text, because like I said before, if you've ever done it before and converted a lot of fonts, TrueType fonts into embroidery, there's a lot of times that you need to change the direction on it, because the software will end up doing something like this to it. And so having that ability to come in and modify that is very nice. And again, when you're in the shape tool, you just right click on the line and you go to add split line. So I could add another split line in here if I wanted to, but I don't really have another change of direction, so it wouldn't do much for me. But it's a nice feature, and if you do, if you right click on one of the lines or one of the split lines, you can also delete the split line. And if you delete the split line, then it won't treat those sections differently. So just wanted to point that out. It's a really nice feature. It's very handy when working with TrueType text to get the stitches to go in the directions you want them to go. And a lot of times it has to do with corners and how you would handle a corner. Like the letter M, I would do it differently. I wouldn't let it wrap around. I would split it up in different sections. And so just wanted to show you that new feature of split lines. It's awesome. I love it. And I hope that those of you who work with TrueType fonts and converting them into embroidery, that you'll take time to play with it, because it's going to really help you get a better outcome on your text.